everyone, I'm Sal Henley and I'm from the Slimming World Golden Bus Tour from last year. If you came to visit us, fantastic that you managed to come along, but we decided that we would give you some videos for you to cook at home because now we're all sort of tucked away with our families, and I am the same. I'm in my sister's kitchen with 3 nieces who are behind this mobile phone that is shooting this today. We thought we'd bring you some free food recipes, so it's sort of like a store cupboard cooking. We're using things that you can find in your fridge, your freezer, all those odds and ends you never knew what to do. We're going to just sort of give you alternatives when we're cooking up each recipe. So we're going to do chicken fajitas today, and you can see all the ingredients I've got here. We've got some natural yogurt you might have there, various lettuce leaves. I think for chicken fajitas, because we're going to use those as the wrap, you see what we're doing there, not using the tortilla wrap but using the lettuce, and that does make it still free food, which is great. So we've got gem lettuce leaves in there, there's cos lettuce leaves and a bit of round lettuce. We've got a lot of people to feed in my house, so we've got odds and ends everywhere. This is left over from our roast chicken that we had the other day, and so I'm going to utilise that, but if you've got chicken breast you can just chop that up with no skin on, obviously. We've got a couple of spices, smoked paprika, cumin seeds, but ground cumin works really well. And then we've got various vegetables that I will talk you through when we come to cooking up, but essentially it's peppers, onions, we've got a few mushrooms left over from something, and then we're going to make a little salsa here, which I'm going to show you next. So let's start that. So the salsa I was mentioning, we're going to make now, and essentially, can you see that, Em?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice little close-up we did there. We've got a selection of tomatoes in there. They could be cherry tomatoes, they could be the bigger round ones. If you've got green tomatoes, I mean, you're doing very well if you're growing them in a greenhouse. Coriander that I just chopped up, root and all. But if you've got parsley, bit of dill, I don't know what else, even dried coriander, anything, just chuck it in. We've got chopped chilli there, and I've taken the seeds out to make it less punchy. My family do like it a little punchy, so I've added a bit more in than I normally would do at home. But here we go, we're going to take the limes, and I'm just going to squeeze those in, and I'm putting lime juice in there because you want a bit of a zing, but say you don't have limes, lemons would be good. Even a drop of white wine vinegar, anything that's got acidity is going to help to make this really nice and punchy. So then again, a little bit of seasoning, that's ground salt, well not ground but coarse salt, and then I'm putting in some black pepper. Remember, pepper is a spice itself, and often people just use it as a seasoning at the table, but you'll see later with the fajitas I'm going to actually add it like you would paprika, so we'll show you that in a minute. So you just give that a stir, and then the longer you can let that sit, the better. All the flavours will meld together, and that essentially is the salsa. It's really easy. So we're going to get cooking the chicken with all the veg. Okay, so now we've got a non-stick pan heating over a high heat, because fajitas, they want sizzling. We want to get a little bit of charcoal, sort of brown, onto the peppers and the onions and the mushrooms. So I'm just going to chuck those in. Did you hear that sizzle? And you'll notice I haven't put any low-calorie cooking spray in there, but you could do if you wanted to. I'm just going to choose to use water. And the reason I do that is because it just creates a bit of steam for it all to cook in there. But again, you know, it's really flexible. You could put in courgettes if you wanted. If you want to make it completely vegetarian, a can of, I don't know, mixed beans that are drained, maybe roasted butternut squash, or if you wanted to use any chicken alternatives, you can do. That's the whole point of these recipes. They're flexible to what you've got in the cupboards. I'm going to add in a bit of thyme from this. I saw my sister doing this the other day when we were cooking, and she was literally dragging her fingers along. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But it's a little thyme plant she has in the kitchen, and just going to add some of that in, because that will add a nice bit of flavour. And then I was talking about pepper. Pepper is its own spice and has its own heat. So I've got a sort of a half a teaspoon of black pepper in there with some red chilli. And the red chilli, I put in extra because the crew just said, that's a little bit mild for us. So, of course, I'm meeting their demands. And then, what are we going to put in? I've got some smoked paprika, but normal paprika would be good. And they like it smoky, so I'm going to put a teaspoon that's heaped in there. And then cumin seeds. I don't have any ground cumin, so I've got cumin seeds. And I think, you know, a good heaped teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, to go in there. Again, you can adjust it accordingly, and a tiny little bit of salt, and just give that a stir. And you can see that's starting to really kind of come together now. And if you want it a lot more sort of charred, you could do by just spritzing in a bit of low-calorie spray, and that will start to brown it. But I'm actually really happy with how that's looking. So I'm going to take that off the heat, and then we can start to assemble our chicken fajitas. So time now to assemble the chicken fajitas. It's actually not that easy to say in that sentence. We're going to put it together with the lettuce leaves, and look, depending on the size of your lettuce leaves, depends on what you're going to do. So for example, the smaller ones, I imagine that you put another small one on top and eat it like that, so make it like a sandwich. The bigger ones overlap, and then you can do it as a wrap. So, I mean, you just put this all on the table, all your family members just help themselves, and therefore it's less work for you guys as well. So I'm going to put chicken on there. Now, if you want that warmed through, you could do, one of my nieces loves hot food, she doesn't really like cold food, so she would probably heat that through in there. Just make sure the chicken's piping hot if you do that. I'm just going to put a bit of lime over there just to bring that chicken to life. Then a bit of this sort of fajita mix that we've just done on there. And the whole point is it should be messy eating. That's what the fun of it is. And then I'm going to put a little bit of yogurt next, actually, I think. Colour-wise, always thinking a bit of colour. Yogurt on there, if you wanted. This is just 0% natural yogurt. And then just a bit of the salsa on top. Now, try and leave some of that juice behind, because I'm going to tell you, this is a messy eat. Do I risk this on camera to eat it? Yeah, why not? Okay, I'm going to go for this one. So I'm going to wrap that up. And you might need a bit of kitchen towel to help you with this. Here we go. They always say don't eat things on camera, but what the hell? Maybe I should have had a smaller bite. I actually think that is really delicious and yummy and healthy, and it's all free food.